All right, this is problem number 1 on page 346, and the question is find the integral of x sine of x. So a couple things you notice right away. You notice inside the integral, we've got a product. You would always, on any integral, try a u to u substitution first, and if you kind of think through a u to u substitution, there really is no good u to choose in this problem. And so after you kind of exhaust the u to u option, then you think maybe integration by parts. And remember our acronym for integration by parts for choosing the u is Lipit. So we look at this integral, we see no logs, so we can kind of take off the logs. We see no inverse trig functions. We do see a little bitty polynomial x. And so when we see that x inside the integrator, I think that will be our u for our u dv substitution or integration by parts. And just to remind you that formula, we've got the integral of u dv equals uv minus the integral of v du. That's just a formula you want to know off the top of your head. And again, what we're trying to do is on the left side of that formula, choose a u and a dv. Our acronym here, our Lipit, that's for choosing u, and whatever's left over, that will be our dv. So our acronym tells us that u equals sine of x. And we remember when we're doing integration by parts, if we ever reach the point where we're down to our polynomial, we can use tabular integration for polynomials times exponentials or polynomial times trig functions. So we are allowed to use tabular integration, so I'll set up a table here. Column here is x. My other column is sine of x. Going down the left-hand column, I'm taking derivatives. And this is nice and quick and easy. I've got x. The derivative of x is 1. The derivative of 1 is 0. Going down the right-hand column, I'm taking integrals. You have to be careful with this because it's hard to distinguish if you're taking integrals or derivatives when it's sine. But we'll tell from the plus or minus signs on this. And the integral of sine is negative cosine. Had I been taking a derivative, it would have been positive sine. The integral of sine is negative cosine. The integral of negative cosine is negative sine of x. And again, we stop because over here we have a 0, so there's no need to proceed any further. On the right-hand column is either. Now I alternate signs. My first sign is positive, negative, positive. I come across here, and I can see my answer. I've got x times negative cosine of x. That gives me negative x cosine of x. And then I see a negative 1 and a negative sine of x. Multiply that, I get a positive sine of x. And then don't forget, plus c. And that completes our first problem.